back, people, and today we're gonna film on Jaylen Waddle. Gonna go over why I think he's become underrated and just deserves more respect from fans league wide because some of the takes I've seen this offseason are actually kind of crazy. But I think recency bias is a big thing. The NFL is like a "what have you done for me lately" league. I think fantasy football even plays into it because he didn't have the best statistical season. But when you turn on the film, you still see a very good player. Whether it's 2024 or 2023, there's good film. 2022, nothing really changed with him. He's still so explosive. I think with Waddle, there's some missing context. Is one, he did struggle with some injuries throughout the 2024 season, which I think affected him throughout the year. But also Tua, your starting quarterback, missed 6 games, the most he's missed in a while. I think that affected the whole offense. Everyone had a statistical downfall. It wasn't just sort of Waddle having a little bit of a fall off. I think the offensive line played a big part in limiting the offense. You weren't able to throw the ball down the field as much. Weren't allowed to. Your run game wasn't existent, so you couldn't really use the play action game to create a lot of downfield shots consistently. The Dolphins faced too high at like a higher rate than pretty much any team in the league. But when he was getting one-on-one coverage, doing like things like other receivers get on other teams a lot of more opportunities of, he would absolutely be cooking people. Like he's still so good. Like I don't understand, the argument kind of used against him when he also has Tyreek Hill on the team. I think this is the year where you finally start to see him match Tyreek Hill in numbers of opportunities, and they can have some similar numbers. And then after this year, once Tyreek's gone, he becomes that main guy. And I feel like once he gets the same amount of opportunities as maybe other wide receiver ones, he's going to start being respected as that type of player. Because Waddle is still very talented. We're going to go over this film, and some of the things that he's able to do is really special. So I'm excited for Waddle this season. Still a very talented player. And we look at him at the bottom of the screen here. Finally, going to start breaking this down. Also, make sure to leave a like on the video. It really helps. But this is something that he can do that is so rare in the NFL. Like I can't stress enough like how rare it is to be able to do this type of thing. Because no other receivers even really attempt it, other than Tyreek Hill. Like Waddle and Tyreek are the 2 receivers that can really even get away with it. Is one, this is cover 2 man. One of the hardest coverages to throw against in obvious passing situations. He's got a DB corner playing press man with outside leverage, and Waddle's running a deep out. This is not normal for guys to take an inside release on an out-breaking route. That just doesn't really happen. But Waddle and Tyreek have the explosiveness to even attempt it. And to do this versus cover 2 man, where this DB is so threatened by his speed, he knows he even has deep inside help over the top here. They're basically bracketing Tyreek and Waddle on both sides with the safeties. That kind of plays into it. But Waddle's able to maintain his acceleration. He gets this DB in a mode where he's like, oh my god, I can't allow him to get wide open over the middle. So he gets too far in his inside leverage. And then Waddle's able to bend and maintain that speed and acceleration through the break. That is not normal to make, and then make that catch 20 yards down the field. Have that. This is a rarity in the NFL. Look at that acceleration and speed maintained through this break right here. Very special. I still think, Waddle has all the talent in the world, and we've seen him showcase that talent. There's still some things like, I think maybe a weakness is this game is his jumping at the catch point that he does. He will jump when he doesn't need to. But this type of play just shows what he's capable of in this league. And I can't wait for him to really get like full-on opportunities, because having Tyreek Hill, I think, has kind of hurt him in some ways, just not being able to, maybe helps him in certain situations get better matchups. But the Dolphins have just continuously faced so much cover too, where they're both basically getting double teamed in a lot of scenarios. But Waddle's just getting less shots because Tyreek's your other receiver. Then he does stuff like this, like the change of direction. He's more than just speed too. I feel like I've seen some people like equate him just to being like a speed receiver. No, like he can run a full route tree. He understands how to manipulate pace. Like here he is running the blaze out. Look at him break out at that angle. Very impressive in this one-on-one. Like this guy's, playing off in space. Waddle does a good job sticking this outside foot to then break inside, which will sell like he's gonna, really run like that. The Dolphins run a lot of these types of routes where it's like a glance, a post, digs, stuff like that. So it's this guy to overcommit. He's selling with his eyes, his shoulders. It's all committed to the inside. And then look at him sink his hips, the bend in that lower half, the ankle flexion, to then get out at like a 90-degree angle, not like flatten it out really well, not like float or anything, and just create so much separation. This is something that you want to have your receivers to be able to do. And this is one where Waddle actually gets time because a lot of times in the Dolphin system, it's all about timing. Like everything is about timing, so they don't always get to run like crazy routes. And Waddle is not the first read here. Tua's kind of coming back to it late, so Waddle actually gets a little bit more time to show off a really dynamic route, which they don't always get to do because usually it's just like split release, run to your spot because it's usually facing zone. You don't get a lot of these one-on-one looks, but when he does, which a lot of other receivers get it at a higher rate, he takes advantage of it. That's why I'm like, dude, he could be so special if he would get those looks that a lot of other good receivers get. Whether I mean, a lot of top receivers still get double teamed and stuff, but they face more man to man than the Dolphins do because Dolphins very rarely get cover one because he gets cover one like this versus Sauce Gardner in the just Sauce Gardner playing with depth, slot fade, and Waddle just runs right past him. He gives a little bit of a hesitation off the line here. He's kind of gliding. Once he eats up enough space, boom, he accelerates past him, just showing off that speed, track the ball, make a tough catch down the field. Just he's actually always given Sauce some problems, and Sauce gives a lot of other receivers problems. Here he is versus Christian Gonzalez in the slot. Like, he can do it from the outside, the inside. Gonzalez was a top 5 corner in the league last year. Waddle was dominant in this Patriots game. Look at him fire off the ball, the split release. So he comes off the ball, gets into a split, jab to the outside, break to the inside. So the come to balance release where you give yourself a two-way go. He's able to, see Gonzalez throws the fake jam. Once he sees that fake jam, he just takes the inside path, explodes past him, and then really efficient break. The fact that he's able to accelerate like this gets Gonzalez in this mode where, like, oh my god, I got to recover and get back in position. And the fact that he's able to just stick that foot in the ground with that amount of speed to break away to the inside and like not really round out his route too much there, it's just so special to see Waddle do this type of stuff. I know, the down year statistically and all that, but he is still a very, very good receiver doing stuff like this. The RPO work, like you getting him out in space. I think getting him some more good yak opportunities is helpful too. Because RPO, you show off like his understanding here. Like, he sees this space open up. Look at him snap his head around really quickly as he works past this. Doesn't float to the inside. He sees this guy playing over the top. He's able to then catch it in space, and look at him shift his momentum back to the inside. And look at the instant acceleration. He accelerates to the inside here to pull away from Duggar. But the fact that he's able to accelerate, bend it, and then change up your path, like a different, like not going linear, like a curvy linear movement, is absolutely insane athletic talent that Waddle possesses, man. I can't wait for them to just truly show. I really hope he's wide receiver 1 for Miami this year. I think Tyreek's become a problem with the team. He's obviously still very talented, and he can still get a lot of looks, and there will be games where he takes over, but I think there needs to be more games where it's like, hey, just let Waddle cook, because in this game, the offense was really going off. This Jets game in 2023 was the only game Tyreek really missed. Waddle had over 100 yards. He was absolutely cooking a good Jets secondary. Look at him run this route versus DJ Reed. Look at that hard sell right here. Like these, getting to sink his hips and either break the inside or outside. Good pad level, and it just freezes DJ Reed's feet. Look what this little move does right here. This little hesitation, hard stab with 2 feet right there. Gets that outside to the inside step, freeze the DB, and then now he's just on top of you. Track the ball in really well down the field. I feel like he can track the ball pretty nicely. There's still some things he can do better at the catch point. I think that's where like his main weakness come, but he's just a talent, man. Dolphins love to do this, the play action. Here's like one of the examples where the play action actually creates a clean pocket, but they're kind of, have Waddle and Tyreek sort of taken away. They're both running similar routes, the deep curls. His is more of a deep curl, but breaking to the outside. They just have the leverage taken away. So now they have to work off script, and then look at Waddle just kind of work with Tua, see him break to the outside, go with him, catch the ball in stride, get downfield. Some just big play opportunities. There was his first year, he was used mostly as like an RPO screen guy. He had a lot of catches, but not a lot of yards per catch. Second year, he led the league in yard per catch. So that just shows like his versatility. So that's what he was doing in 2022, where he had like the highest yards per catch in the league, had over 1,000 yards again. His third year was more of a mixed bag of that. Like, it was a combination of doing some underneath stuff, but still being able to move the ball down the field more so than his first year. And then this last year was kind of his first sort of down statistical year because of all those context that we're missing. But man, he is a threat all over. He can run these slot fades, make adjustments on a back shoulder throw here, give a little bit of hesitation. He was cooking in this Patriots game. Uh, you get him one-on-one looks. Like, this is why it's so fun to see when the Dolphins play teams like New England or the Jets in their division. They're actually willing to go cover one looks. Most teams are just like, dude, just stay in too high the entire time. Here they get cover one rat with a linebacker routing. So he basically gets one-on-one. The other safety cheats to that side with Tyreek. So Waddle gets a one-on-one, and he takes advantage of it. And it just doesn't get to get those opportunities often, but when he does, he pretty much wins vast majority of time. Here's another example of cover one. Inside release versus a deep outside breaking route, and he doesn't get this one as cleanly. And the fact that he doesn't get it as cleanly, like, there's so many reps of this. There's the one versus a Sauce a couple years ago. Look at that. He's able to work through the contact. Look at him bend through, get out horizontally, keep fighting through contact for a smaller receiver. I think he does a pretty good job through contact for a guy who's pretty small. Find this ball and then make a tough catch late. It's throwing down and away, so he has the only chance to make a play on that ball, and he does go down there and makes a tough catch. Very, very good work. Even here, the Cowboys go quarters, and he's just going at Stephon Gilmore. He's doing the glide off the ball. This is what you want to do in these situations when you're running deep. Kind of glide off the ball. Once you have enough cushion, then accelerate, because this DB now, Gilmore kind of, plays a little more flat-footed. He's kind of anticipating a break, because this is also like 3rd and 8. So they're thinking like, oh, he might break at the sticks. But once he gets to the sticks, he accelerates, and then he's so much faster than Gilmore at this age that he's just able to work past him, catch the ball down the field. That's something that's not very, normal. He can do things, I think, be a decent red zone receiver. I think I'm using him more down the red zone. Look at him make a tough catch, go up the vertical explosiveness, full extension, body control, get in bounds, like, impressive work. I think they got to be able to utilize their receivers' ability to create separation down in the red zone more. I think, Waddle and Tyreek can make some tough catches if things don't go perfectly for you, but that's another nice play for Waddle. Vertical threat on the outside, little, hesitation, selling like he's going to work a diamond release, which is like this little hop skip here, and then he might break to the inside. Guy keeps inside leverage, but now he's eating up space. Acceleration, he gets past the DB. Use your body. Ball is like a little bit underthrown, so use your body to jump and shield. So this guy doesn't have a chance to make a play. To make that play down the field, really good work there from Waddle. In the slot, he can run, he's a guy that can run those option routes. He's so dynamic, quick, sudden. These guys aren't going to cover him. This guy's playing outside leverage. He's going to break to the inside just on a, quick slant right there. And then he has you actually give him some yak room to work with. He can take advantage of that. I feel like, the yak opportunities haven't been super great for him because teams were just expecting screens. So that kind of, limited those opportunities, but he's obviously capable of making a really big play. There's so much examples of it. That's why I'm ever since I think George Pickens got traded to the Cowboys, there was more talk of wide receiver duos, and it's Tyreek and Waddle were always the top wide receiver duo, and they were staying after last season dropping them a bit, but they were getting dropped. I understand putting them below the Bengals and the Eagles because they were always pretty close to the Dolphins anyways, and they still had good years, but they got dropped below people like the Cowboys when Pickens has never even played with Dallas. He's never even had a Waddle type season. He's a solid player too, but he's honestly at least a tier below Waddle in my opinion. There's some other players I've seen sort of like that. I've seen people already put Xavier Worthy above him, Jamison Williams, when those are just worse versions of this type of player, in my opinion. Waddle's just more well-rounded. He runs a better route tree. He's a better route runner. He's better down the field too than those guys on a consistent basis. I think they were put in better situations last season than Waddle was. One due to just health, and also they just have much better offensive lines and situations. And Andy Reid was putting Xavier Worthy in a lot of good spots, but Waddle still extremely talented. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to comment, and subscribe. It is